What's going on, YouTube family? Back at it again with another video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you ain't new to the channel and you're a subscriber, welcome back. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, this is a Bible-based only channel. Bible-based only. If you got any opinions or theology from somewhere else, you can just keep it. I don't care for it, and I ain't gonna follow it. I ain't gonna probably even look into it. So if you know, you know. I don't water no grass, I don't trim no bushes, and I don't cut down no trees. All I am is it's a little long, you know what I'm saying? If you keeping up with the channel, you already know I ain't the best reader, but if you stick with me a little bit, we gonna get her done, right? So this one we gonna really just kind of stay. The long ones are gonna be in Matthew, right? We're gonna go in from Matthew 24 to Matthew 25, and then we're gonna dip into a little bit of First Corinthians, right? And I guess just follow along. What we're gonna be talking about is be ready at all times. And that's why I'm always on here and I'm only talking Bible. Why? Because what else are you going to be following? If you say you Christian, that means you must be following the Bible and you must have an understanding of the Bible. But in order to get an understanding of the Bible, you got to get somebody who can rightfully decipher the Bible, right? Because God only gives knowledge to those that he decides is worthy of the knowledge. No matter how many different translations you read, you can go to the NIV if you want to. I know that's where everybody loves to go because King James Version is just so hard to read. But even if you go there to try to get your understanding, you're just going to get your own understanding. And we all know he says, don't go to your own understanding. And he also say, most likely you don't go to your own understanding because we have a very desperate, wicked heart, right? Our heart are desperately wicked and it wants to do evil. So best thing to do is if you don't understand something, pray about it. Pray about it, pray about it, pray about it. If you don't get an answer the first day, call again. Call them like they owe you money. Call on God like he owe you money. You know what I'm saying? You read a verse, you don't understand it, you struggling with it, call on God. He ain't answering, call again, call again, call again. God loves determination, right? And it's in the Bible, it shows that when a woman came to Jesus and she needed help to heal her sick child and Jesus was turned her away at first, she kept going. She was still persistent on saying like, please help, right? So God loves persistency. No matter what situation you in, no matter how rough or tough it's looking, if it don't seem like he helping, he most likely is helping. And most likely you still have to put in work and you still got to put in faith and you still got to put in effort. So today is just going to be about be ready all the time because you don't know when he going to come back, right? And he can only come back for those that are his, right? And the only way you can know if you're his is if you're Bible based. So we're going to get right into it. We're going to go to chapter 24 in Matthew and we're going to go to chapter 24, verse 34. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of the day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the day of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, one shall be taken and the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, and one shall be taken and one shall be left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour the Lord doeth come. I know that was a handful. I know I read kind of slow, but no matter how many times I read the Bible, I always try to I guess you could say read it slowly to make sure I get a clear understanding and make sure I don't rush through any words because, you know, I ain't trying to rush through it with you guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to slow it down, break it up a little bit. So as it said clearly, nobody knows when the Son of Man is going to come, right? He come at any time. I know throughout the Bible, it always tells people and it warns people to save yourselves, right? Save yourself to try to find God while you have the chance, right? And it seems kind of selfish to say save yourself, but how can you save another person if you're not saved yourself? And that's where the judgment come into play, where they say, "Thou shalt not judge, for you'll be judged on what on what measure you met." Right? I had a verse up, but you can't judge somebody and you not living right on that same term for yourself. You can't tell a thief not to be stealing when you're a thief yourself. So, and that's what the passage is basically saying. No one knows when the Son of Man is coming. So we all have to make sure we are prepared, because just because you with somebody doesn't mean that that person will be saved, right? That's why I give the parable of two women in the grinding mills. One be taken, one not. Two men in the field, one be taken and one not. It would be the same way everywhere else. You and your husband chilling, sitting in bed, one be taken, one be not. You and your best friend hanging out, one be taken, one be not, right? So we just have to focus on ourselves to make sure that we are ready for when he do come, right? Which brings me right next to the next verse, right? And that is in Matthew 25th chapter, right? It's a long one, so bear with me. I know I read too slow for some folks, but it is what it is, right? So we're going to go to Matthew chapter 25, verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. At midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out. And the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy yourself. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. So like I was saying, that parable shows you that you have to save yourselves. Because those 5 virgins could have said, yeah, oh, you need some oil? Here you go. And then now they both ran out because, I'll be so focused on trying to save you that I'll end up falling into sin, right? And it's a Bible verse that says that you shouldn't really tarry around evil company, because their spirit could spread to you. And you don't want that. You don't want you to be living a good life, a righteous life, a holy life. And when the Son of Man do come, when Jesus Christ himself comes to take his, you ain't even ready. Why? Because you was too busy trying to entertain foolishness, right? So we all have to be ready, and we just have to make sure we are fully oiled. Oiled mean anointed, right? We got to be anointed. And the only way you can really be anointed is through the doctrine, right? The only way you can be ready for Jesus' coming is through doctrine. You got to be following the word. I know a lot of people read the Bible and it says don't do this and don't do that. And they try to make it seem like, well, is that a sin to do this? Is it a sin to do that? I consider it all a sin. If it say to do it and you not doing it, I consider that a sin. I don't know how God would see it, but I would consider that a sin. If he say don't do it and you're doing it, I would consider that a sin. Why? Because why even give his disciples the knowledge of saying these things if it wasn't important to him? You know what I mean? If it says don't adorn yourself in, gold, pearls, braided hair, and you said, well, is it a sin to not do it? Yes. Because he said if it says don't do it, and I know people are going to say, well, Jesus didn't say it. Well, guess what? This is how I see it. If you're a Christian, all of the words should matter. Not just parts that you want to pick and choose, because if that's the case, you can't really read the whole Bible. You really not even read the whole Bible. You just reading what, 3 of the books. So in order to be the perfect bridegroom, fully oiled and anointed, you got to be following all the word. In other words, you got to look the part. If you don't look the part, how is you going to be the part? If you look like the world, how can someone know that you're any different? What makes you different from the sinner? You know what I'm saying? I listen to some Christian rappers, but then once you look at like their album cover or how they dressed, you can tell they trying their hardest to dress like other rappers that's of the world. So it's like, how can you consider yourself rapping about God, but you're not really following the word? You got to be following the word. You're not dressing modestly, because modestly goes across the board. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people get what modesty is, but we'll go over that another time. But you got to be ready. You got to be anointed. You got to know what to do, when to do, how to do. And the only way you can know that is through the doctrine, right? And that's why it says, even if you're not ready, right? And the time comes and you try to rush and do it. Like, oh, God say, come up here, my children. And you be like, oh man, you try to hurry up and throw in a prayer. That's what going to the store is. The Bible is the store. You get what I'm saying? The Bible is the anointed oil. So when the time do come, you can't rush to the Bible and try to, oh, I'm going to just try to hurry up. And no, it's too late. He came, he got his, he closed the door. You banging on the door saying, let me in. He going to say, he don't know you. Who are you? Why you at my door? We don't know the time, we don't know the hour, and we don't know the place. Right? So you got to always be ready and always be prepared. So next verse we're going to do is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, 51 through 53. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must be put on incorruption, and this mortal shall put on immortality. So like it says, like I said also previously, you don't know when it's going to say. The Bible also said you don't know when it's going to be. So you might as well be ready, because it's going to happen in a twinkle of an eye. I don't know if you know how fast that is, but that's basically a blink. You'll blink, and as soon as you blink, everything done changed. God done came back. He's taking his people, and you are flabbergasted because you didn't believe. Or you did believe, but you believed that he was coming back, but you didn't believe certain parts that was in the Bible about him coming back. You didn't believe that, oh man can have long hair. It didn't say it's a sin not to have long hair, but why would it be said if it wasn't necessary? You know what I'm saying? And I know men love their hair so much, and they just want to play in it. But, like I tell everybody, what's more important? You really that's all it comes down to. What's more important? Your hair? Your jewelry? Your third, fourth, fifth wife? Your third, fourth, second, fifth, 18th husband? What's more important? You making it to heaven, or just being happy on earth? Because I guarantee you, your happiness on earth is going to make hell more hell for you. And that's how I see it. My grandma always be asking, so you just try to base your life off the Bible? Yes, that is the prime definition of being a Christian. Someone who is striving to be Christ-like. In order to be Christ-like, I got to read the doctrine. In order to read the doctrine, I got to understand the doctrine. In order to understand the doctrine, God has to open my understanding, right? And once he opens your understanding on any situation, even if it's not the whole Bible at that time, if he opens your understanding at any situation and you blatantly deny him, that is called blasphemy. And we all know he said that is the one sin that is unforgivable. In other words, when you die and you got in your heart and in your soul, oh, I saw that, I understood that, but I didn't want to believe that, or I'm not gonna do that because I'd rather do this. This makes me happy. I'd rather do that. That makes me happy. But none of this or that made God happy, because he told us what to do. He told us how to live. He sent his disciples to show us what to do. You just didn't want to do it. And now you got to try and make excuses to God when he already know all the excuses, because you ain't gonna be the first one to make that excuse. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't be the first one to say, I didn't know. You ain't gonna be the first one to say that. You ain't gonna be the first one to say, oh, well, this made me feel like this. You ain't gonna be the first one to say that. You ain't gonna be the first one to say, I didn't want to be alone. That's why I didn't want to give up my marriage. You ain't gonna be the first one to say that. You ain't gonna be the first one to say, oh, but God, I have to wear makeup. I can't cover my head. I always got my hair done, or I was in a corporate. I'm a big CEO. I can't cover my head, God. How would they look at me? They'll think I'm a Arabian, because a lot of people see that they cover their head and they try to relate that to that. But if you ask me, they got that part right. You know what I'm saying? And it's the craziest thing, because it's really only Americans that find the Bible to be more offensive. You know what I'm saying? It tells women to be submissive to their man, and women here just go crazy over that. But everywhere else, they don't have a problem with that. They see the man as the breadwinner anyway. He take care of me, I'm going to take care of him, because that's how the relationship's supposed to go. But here, women trying so hard to be on top that they forgetting their own family values. We're swaying away from what God wants because we want something different. And it just ain't gonna fly. It ain't gonna cut it. You trying to build a business. That's cool. What if that business crash? Now you have nothing. you're just nothing. And then now you spiraling in depression because you have nothing. You know what I'm saying? Women wait forever, or they say they never want kids, and then they never end up finding a husband, because most men want kids because, believe it or not, they want a mini them, whether it's a female or a male. And some women want to do that. We don't want to follow what the Bible says, because what the Bible says, it'll contradict our lifestyle, and we can't do that. That's why we end up making different denominations, because, hey, why not just tell everybody you can do this or you can do that and God will accept you? But in reality, denominations are straight from the devil himself. Any denomination you in, you can try to challenge me, you'll lose, because all I'm gonna ask you is, where's that at in the Bible? You Methodist? That's cute, like a puppy, you know what I'm saying? But where's that in the Bible? Catholic? That's adorable. Where's that in the Bible? Matter of fact, where's what you even preach about in the Bible? It ain't in there. You Baptist? Where's that at? John the Baptist wasn't a Baptist. John the Baptist was a baptizer. That's why his name was the Baptist, because he baptized. So anytime I hear somebody claim being a Baptist, I'm asking how many people they baptized. And if they say none, now you're a liar, because that's called, I don't remember what the word is. False valor, fake valor, something like that, somewhere in that area, right? When people put on a soldier uniform, or, impersonate a cop, it's like that. If you're a Baptist and I ask you how many people you baptized and you say none, you're stolen valor. You're a liar. I don't believe nothing you say at this point, because you wouldn't even be able to prove to me. Matter of fact, most Baptists that I do ask, they say that they don't follow the Baptist rules, which don't even make sense, because you're claiming to be Baptist. The least you can do is Google where it came from. At minimum, anytime I question a Methodist, a Lutheran, a Scientology, any of them, you question them and ask them, where's that in the Bible? They can't tell you. They can't show you. When you ask them, so do you know who made it? They don't know. They can't tell you. They can't show you. It's a Google search away, but they rather not do that, because they want to be in that denomination. Even non-denomination. If no other denomination is from the devil, for sure non-denomination, because it don't even make sense. It contradicts itself through in and throughout. So that's all I really have. You know what I'm saying? Peter said it best in Acts chapter 2, verse 40, when he says, save yourselves Just save yourself. Don't worry about the person next to you. Don't worry about the person in front of you or behind you or none of that. Save yourself. Like I said in the other video, if you see somebody's house on fire, it's nice and courtesy because, you know, he say love your neighbors as you love yourself. Yes. If his house is on fire, you should at least let them know, hey, your house is on fire, and try to help. If they don't want help, move on. Make sure your house don't catch on fire, because if you stand there too long and you in there trying to help that person out and their house is on fire and they not really putting in the effort to do it, you gonna get burnt and your house gonna burn. Ain't that something? You gonna get burnt, your house gonna get burned. And the craziest thing is, it's kind of like a drunk driving situation where the drunk driver gets in a wreck and kill everybody except themselves. They the only ones that survive. That's how it's gonna be. You gonna get burned, your house gonna get burned, but for some odd reason, at the end of days, at the end of time, they gonna change their ways, but you got sucked into the burnt ways, so now your ways ain't changed, and now you going to hell. I don't want to see that for nobody. If you ever talk to me, you know I get passionate about it. When people start saying all kinds of stuff, I get passionate about it. You know, because I don't want to see nobody go to hell. I would want the same thing for me. That's why when somebody say something, I ask them, where is that in the Bible? Because I want them to educate me just the way I educate them. Why? Because you have to bounce it off of each other. If you said that this is how God want, I want to see it. I'll let you know how it is, and I'll show you. It's that simple. But I'm going to throw one more verse in there. You know what I'm saying? Follow me to 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 16. Take heed unto thyself and unto the doctrine. Continue in them, for in doing this thou shalt both save thyself and them that hear. You see what was the first one, right? You'll save yourself and them that hear, because what's going to happen is if you don't follow the doctrine, which is what's written, and you don't take heed to it and follow it, and you start spreading other theological and physiological and all these other philosophies and all these other words, it won't even matter. And it's going to even be worse for you if you taught somebody something and it led them to sin. Bible makes that clear as well. If you teach something, especially pastors, if your pastor up there preaching it's your season, leave. First time your pastor say it's your season, leave immediately, because you could be going through long suffering. God could be putting you through this to test you. And for him to tell you it's your season, that means he's saying, I'm going to tell God to get you out of this. Well, guess what? If God wants you in it, you in it. Ain't no such thing as it's your season. When God wanted to be your time, it's going to be your time. If he don't want it to be your time, it ain't going to be your time. I don't know how to tell people that. People think these prosperity preachers be on to something. They don't be on to nothing. Because sometimes the devil will play with people's emotions and they'll say, it's your season. You'll walk outside and you'll find $50 laying in the grass and be like, oh, thank God. You know, oh, I guess it really is my season. No, the devil just set a trap up for you. I hate to tell you that. The devil set up traps, right? But like God said, he is not going to tempt you. But for every temptation that you do come across, he's always going to give you a way out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. But the least you can do is comment down below what you did or didn't like, what I did or didn't miss, what you do or don't approve of. And if you did like the video and you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell if you want to hit more, if you want to hear more. If you want to hear more, hit the notification bell. But if you just want to, you know, every now and then see me, you just subscribe and every now and then I'll pop up on your screen. And yeah, remember, save yourselves. Don't worry about nobody else. If somebody else need help, you can help them, but make sure you're first saved, because ain't no point of trying to save somebody else and they make it to heaven and you don't. It just wouldn't make sense. Take it from the 5 virgins. If they want some oil, they got to go and get the oil the same place you got your oil, which is in doctrine. only here, only this, only Bible. If it ain't in the Bible, I don't know where you got it from, and I ain't following it. And I'll catch y'all on the next video.